What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, bigboyfactsjonnytv, and tonight I'll go my AEW Dynamite review and highlights. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications to get notified when I premiere a brand new video or go live on YouTube. Follow my social media, my Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch, and Discord down below in the description. Let's go with my AEW Dynamite review and highlights. Now, AEW Dynamite, good show, and that's all I gotta say. It says it is Wednesday, my dudes. You know what that means. So it says power goes off, welcoming us to another exciting edition of AEW Dynamite as we see balloons set up in the ring for MJF's Rebar Mizvah celebration, just as the champ music plays. All right, so we get the AEW World Champion MJF's Rebar Mizvah celebration. This was a good promo by MJF. Good promo. The AEW World Champion is accompanied by some ladies as he heads to the ring to kick things off. MJF calls for his music to be cut before getting into things, letting the crowd and Winnipeg know what he thinks of Bret Hart before talking about his birthday. A quick cultural lesson on the bar Mizvah leads us to MJF continuing to brag about his win over Bryan Danielson at AEW Revolution. MJF says that he is no longer just a man, but an Iron Man. With that, he called for the music to start as the celebration. A group of folks coming out to engage in the transition as the crowd shows this disapproval. Before Jungle Boy music hits, bringing Jack Perry out to the ring to the charging of the champ. The crowd, however, is loving this as Jungle Boy gets in the ring to chant from the crowd. Jungle Boy starts to speak, but is interrupted by the music of Sammy Guevara, who we know is teaming with Jericho and Garcia later tonight in the Trios Championship match. Jungle Boy and MJF look perplexed as Sammy Guevara heads to the ring, taking a taste of the cake at ringside before entering to a chorus of boos. Sammy Guevara starts to call MJF out when suddenly Darby Allin's music hits as well. MJF demands the music to be stopped before asking the three men who have joined him in the ring what he wants, and they all respond with "I want a title match" to a big pop from the crowd. Jungle Boy talks about his match with MJF 3 years ago and the different paths they taken since. Jungle Boy even point out that unlike the other three men, MJF has not been on Dark Elevation or even Rampage on a regular basis for getting into the matter of screen time and calling MJF out for doing the same hokey BS for 4 years. MJF's retorts saying the company does revolve around him because he is actually a star, but it's cut off by Sammy Guevara, who threatens to make this Rebar Mizvah a criticism. Sammy Guevara talks about the grind of being on the independent scene for 10 plus years, the small job he had to do for extra income, and how he was relegated to specific role in the inner circle and beyond. And much like Jungle Boy, Sammy Guevara makes the case of him going after the world champion. MJF calls Sammy Guevara on his retort, but is quickly cut off by Darby Allin. Darby Allin talks about a student film he made in 2013 and dropping out, which was a blessing in disguise since it opened the door for him to become a professional wrestler, where he focused on either succeeding or failing as Darby Allin, but would never change anything. He credits AEW and Tony Khan for giving him an opportunity to be himself. He quickly changed tack, calling out MJF on his bidding war, and threatened to get out of his contract before talking about getting a championship match. MJF, who has been wearing sunglasses this entire time, takes them off when he starts yelling at everyone in the ring, revealing to damage still lasting from the Iron Man match at AEW Revolution. MJF calls out three men, saying he never had to be enrolled in AEW Daddy Daycare, referring to Sammy Guevara being attached to Chris Jericho, Jungle Boy and Christian Cage, and Darby Allin to Sting, before saying that none of the other pillars deserve to even sniff his AEW World Championship. What's gonna happen next is three men will leave, and he's going to have his cake because he deserves it. Thank you, screw you, bye. None, Nonetheless, to say the other pillars don't take kindly to this attacking the champ in a matter that leaves him falling over the top rope to the outside and right on the cake. MJF is left to collect himself on the ramp as he heads to the back. That was a good promo by MJF. Okay, so we get the video package. Chris Jericho earns an honor and man Mantiba. After a quick rundown of what was to come tonight, we come back to ringside for the opening contest of the night as BCC make their way through the crowd before we go to picture in picture. We come back from picture in picture. The BCC continue their entrance, waiting in the ring for their opponents. Coming back, Hangman makes his way to the stage, accompanied by Evil Uno and STU Grayson, heading down to the ring before this match gets underway. So we get Hangman Page, Dark Order, Evil Uno, and STU Grayson versus Blackpool Combat Club, John Moxley, Ring of Honor World Champion, Claudio Cascanoy, and Ring of Honor Pure Champion Wheeler Yuta. Now I must say this tag team match was amazing. This was good for what it was. I ain't gonna lie, this was a good match. We kicked off with Uno giving Yuta a boot to the face before going on the attack, hitting Job suplex only to get sent to the corner for a tag from Yuta to Moxley, who goes hard on Uno after their previous single encounter before tagging in Claudio, who takes Uno down for a near fall. Uno back to the corner as Claudio slams him back down again, only getting another near fall in the process. Tag to Yuta, who goes on the offense, hitting a double stomp for another near fall, as it becomes clear that they're diving and conquering with another tag to Moxley. John Moxley hits him hard before making a tag to Yuta. The two trading blows before Uno invades and an attack to tag in SCU. SCU is a house on fire as he goes into it, but John Moxley breaks up a pin attempt only to get taken out of the ring. SCU stays on top of Claudio, hitting a furious of offense that gets him a near fall before going to a torture rack. But Claudio breaks out of it before sending him out of the ring, where all three of Blackpool Combat Club takes XTU down with a spike pile driver as we go to picture in picture. Back from picture in picture, Claudio stays on the attack here, sending STU back in the ring before going well covered. He gets a near fall as we see Page looking for a tag, but SCU does his best to fight back before getting slammed by Claudio, who tags him Moxley. Moxley draws SCU with a German suplex, but only gets a near fall off this before locking in a Texas clover leaf that caused a great deal of pain to SCU. John Moxley sandwiched into a bulldog choke, but STU grabs the rope to break the hold. Tag to Claudio now, and the ROH World Champion keeps a focused and steady attack before attacking the pure champion Yuta Wheeler, who hits a fisherman suplex but only gets in their fall. Yuta now with a single leg crab as STU tries to fight out of it before Moxley tags in as we come back. Coming back, we see Claudio tagging in now, but STU fights back with a jawbreaker, only to take an uppercut that gets Claudio and their fall. Tag to John Moxley, who hits a big kick to the midsection of STU before hitting a power driver, but STU kicks out. STU crosses to the corner, but John Moxley stays on the attack before taking a running knee to the face of one of the running knee to the face by Grayson. Despite Claudio's best efforts, SU gets the tag to Page, and things break down into chaos before hitting a fall away slam on Yuta and diving onto Claudio. Page is now at Page is still at it now, but Yuta escapes a powerbomb. Evil Uno with a blonde tag as Page ends up hitting the powerbomb, and Udo hits a big senton on Yuta. Moxley and Claudio gets involved, but getting taken out of the ring. But eventually, John Moxley makes it back to the ring apron and gets the tag, giving us a standoff between the man who face off at AEW Revolution. They trade blows until Page hits a big lariat, but doesn't get too follow up with a buckshot lariat when really Yuta hits him in the back with the ring bell. Dark Order check on Page before running into the ring to fight Claudio and John Moxley, but Yuta hits a chop block on Uno to turn things back the Blackpool Combat Club favor. Claudio gets sent out of the ring by STU, who dodges an attack by Yuta to hit a dog dive onto Claudio on the outside. We get a big air Canada from Dark Order on Moxley, but they only get a near fall fatality by the Dark Order to follow up, but Yuta breaks up the pin. Blackpool Combat Club looks to be in control as Claudio calls back, and after Yuta pulls Evil Uno off the apron, John Moxley locks in a rear choke on STU, who has to submit. The winner of the match, Blackpool Combat Club. This was a good tag team match. This was good. Moxley sandwiched up to a bulldog choke, but Uno runs in to make the save. But no, well, as Blackpool Combat Club takes him down, beating both beating both men up until John Silver and Alex Reynolds runs down to make the save. Blackpool Combat Club regroup and retreat through the crowd. Video package Juice Robinson states his intentions with Ricky Starr's rundown of what's coming up tonight. Up next is the TBS Championship Jerry Canadian Open Challenge. Commercial break. We get a recap of what happened to kick the show off before heading to the ring of our next match as TBS champion Jay Cargill makes her way to the ring before the Canadian Open Challenge, putting the title on the line. Already in the ring, it's just a Canadian for the task. Nicole Matthews as this match gets underway. So we get a Canadian Open Challenge TBS champion. Nicole Matthews versus TBS champion Jade Cargill. This was a squash match. Jade Cargill goes on the attack early, and despite an attempts to fight back, she hit down hard for a quick victory from the champ for the champion to retain. The winner and still your TBS champion Jade Cargill. This was a squash match. Renee Paquette heads to the ring for a post-match interview, but is nearly threatened by the champ, who asks if that's all they have before Taya Valkyrie music hits, bringing the intentional superstar out to the stage to a big pop from the crowd. Jake's mood definitely changed here as Tanya makes her way to the ring, enjoying the moment before starting down the champ. They have a few words for each other before Leia Gray interviews, giving Jay to leave the ring as Layla tries to attack Taya, taking Jay's own finisher from Taya in the process. Sterling runs down to keep Jay from getting involved as we cut backstage. Tony Schiavone is standing by with Ricky Starks, who talks about Juice Robinson and telling him to do something for himself. He tells Juice if he wants to bring Bullet Club in, he can do that too. Back at ringside, we get hyped for our next contest for the AEW International Champion. Video package All Atlantic Champion levels up to become the Intercontinental International Champion in occasions with Shazam Fury of the Gods. So go to commercial break. We come back from the break. We come back from commercial to see the debut of the QTV. The debut of QTV with QT Marshall and the TNT champion Powerhouse Hobbs. This was solid. The focus of this is on the revelation that QT Marshall and his crew were behind breaking into Rollins' car to take the title as his fast forward, explaining why he won't be here tonight. Hobbs lets Rollo knows this this will swirl now. So we coming to Rampage Open Challenge for the TNT Champion. Back at ringside, Jeff Jarrett makes his way to the ring for an AEW International Champion. Up next is Orange Cassidy, who grabs the International Champion, swiping it with the All Atlantic Champion in his bag before getting to the ring. For the ring, introduced by Justin Roberts, with that this is match is underway. Okay, so we get the AEW International Champion Jeff Jarrett versus the AEW International Champion Orange Cassidy. This was a good match. Jeff Jarrett gets an early advantage on the champ before hitting a strut, much to the basement of the champ, who gets back to his feet. They lock up again, and Jeff Jarrett still has the advantage, doing another strut before laying on the top turnbuckle to Mark Cassidy. Jeff Jarrett stops Orange Cassidy getting his hands in his pockets before taking advantage of an injured leg before marking the champ again. This time with the dangerous kicks. Orange Cassidy is famous for. Orange Cassidy responds to this by getting to his feet and hitting some chops. Jeff Jarrett ends up sending him back to the corner, but gets met with a turnbuckle to the face by Orange Cassidy instead, who has to deal with Sergeant Dutt at the apron before Jeff Jarrett sneaks attack him, and we go to picture in picture. Back from picture in picture, Jeff Jarrett continues to attack on the champ, heading through the crowd as he gets in as much damage as he can all the while. This fight finds its way up the stand before the champ finally starts fighting back, sending Jeff Jarrett back down towards ringside until Jeff Jarrett sends Orange Cassidy into the barricade. Jeff Jarrett comes to attack with some punches to the head of Cassie. Bryce demolished him. Jeff Jarrett yells at Roberts at the ringside table. Ariel as he heads back. Jeff Jarrett continues the attack with a microphone in the head before sliding into the ring, distracting Bryce as Sign hosts Cassio for hosting up and tossing him into the ring. Jeff Jarrett focused on the injury. Jeff Jarrett focused on the injury of the champ as looks for a figure for a leg lock, only to go for a sharpshooter. Instead, Cassie is struggling here but managed to fight back out of it, locking in one of his own on Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett gets the bottom rope thanks to an assist by Sergeant Johnson before getting a sleeper hold in on the champ. Orange Cassidy is fading, but he fights out of it. Hands in pockets and a jawbreaking to break the hold. Cassidy goes for a hold of his own. As Sanjay John hops onto the apron, allowing Sign to intervene until Jeff locks in the figure four leg lock. Cassidy is worn down as Cassidy is worn down and falls to his shoulders, giving Joe Jerry a couple near falls in the process before getting back to his feet. Now the two men trade blows until they collide. Foreheads knocking Bryce out of the process. Sign slides in the guitar for Jeff Jarrett, but Ari Evers heads to the ring, pulling the guitar away from Jeff Jarrett before Cassidy rolls him up for a near fall. As Jeff Jarrett and Ari argue, Cassidy grabs the guitar, but Sign pulls it away from him. Orange Cassidy taps Arby on the shoulder, pointing to Sign before falling to his back, which means to Arby Hours ejecting Sign and Sanjay Dutt from ringside. While this is going on, we see Cassidy starting to fight back when Jay Lethal comes running and hitting the champ with the Golden Globe before being run off by Trent Beretta. Jeff Jarrett tries to get the guitar once again, but gets taken down with a orange punch that gives the champ the pin and the win to retain. The winner is still your AEW International Champion Orange Cassidy. This was a good match. Video package hype for the AEW World Trio Champion bout. Commercial break. Everybody loves the claim. Back at ringside, we see the Outcast of Soraya, Tony Storm, and Ruby Soho heading to the ring. So we get the Outcast speak. Okay. Ruby Soho offers the crowd a story talking about the grass being greener in AEW until a couple of dogs came along to piss all along the grass. We do with them. So what do we do with them? Soraya says we showed them this is our house. Soraya says the crowd is lucky to have the three of them here in AEW for letting Tony speaks on this mess that was being an interim champion, saying she won it. She won it with a smile on her face, but none of the fans showed any appreciation. She realized after Jamie Hader beat her that none of the fans know what they want. So the outcasts are here to show them what they need, and they aren't going anywhere. They talk about going through one entire rookie after the other, but by the time they mention Jimmy Hader, the champ, and Baker head to the ring to go after the Outcasts, the numbers, the num the numbers game quickly works out for the Outcasts, however, as they beat up Jamie Hader and Baker until Riho makes her way out alongside Scott Blue and Willa Nightgown to make the save. The Outcast leaves the ring, regrouping on the rim as we get hyped for our main event for the AEW World Trios Champion. Commercial break. Back from commercial, Jericho Appreciation Society, Matt and Angelo call out the Acclaim before we get hyped for Rampage and get a world from Ray Phoenix about accepting House Open Challenge for the TNT Championship. In other news, next week we'll get the no disqualification match between Hook and Big Stoke on Dynamite. With that, we go back to inside for our main event. The champ House of Black arrives to the ring first, followed by the Elite and the Jericho Appreciation Society, who both have homecoming of short for Margaret and Jericho before this main event gets underway. So we get three-way trios match. AEW World Trios Champion, the Elite Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus Jericho Appreciation Society. Chris Jericho, Daniel Garcia, Sammy Guevara. And Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara versus AEW World Trios Champion House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews. This was a good main event match. We kicked off this trios match with Brody King and Sammy Guevara, who gets a draw kick on the bigger man, but Brody King is on face as he lays in a chop for a good measure. Sammy Guevara looks for a tag, but Garcia takes it going for a chop on Brody King, who lays Garcia down with one of his own. Daniel Garcia goes to the Elite for a tag, but when they want none of it, they into Garcia trying to square up to Kingston, who boots Garcia into his own corner where Jericho makes the tag. Okay, after a moment, we get a tag to Malachi Black, but before we know it, Kenny Omega makes a blind tag to square up against a man he has a lot of history with. This is short lived, however, as the House of Black rough shot on their challenge before we go to the picture in picture. So you come back from picture in picture. Chaos ensures on the outside as the House of Black are a house on fire, laying out their challenges as they spill into the crowd. Black himself is focused on Kenny Omega with a hard kick before Brody King comes in as Matthew deals with Sammy Guevara. Brody King and Jericho are back in the ring. Now as Brody King lays in some hard chops on the Jericho, but Jericho starts fighting back. Brody King gets the upper hand. However, he beats down even harder on Jericho, locking in a chin lock for Jericho fights back to his feet as we return. Tag to Malachi Black here, but Jericho starts to fight back before hitting some shots, but Malachi Black dodges the Judas effect. Jericho switches up and takes him down, but only gets a near fall. Tag to Daniel Garcia as they double team Malachi Black before mocking him. Daniel Garcia makes Malachi Black in the corner as Sammy Guevara tags in, and the double team resumes before Malachi Black starts fighting back. Sammy Guevara with a forearm and a big kick to Malachi Black, but Nick Johnson gets a blind tag in before taking down Sammy Guevara and Garcia. Nick finds himself in a bad spot, dealing with the House of Black. As Buddy sets him up for A knee by Malachi Black. Malachi Black is on the attack before Buddy Matthews tags in, stopping Nick from making a tag before taking an insecurity as Kenny Omega tags in. Crossbody on Buddy. Kenny Omega unloads on everyone he can before hitting a big combo on Buddy Matthews for a near fall. The two go back and forth until Jericho makes a tag to get in. And we finally get the matchup we've been waiting on. Kenny Omega and Jericho clear the ring of the House of Black before trading blows. And Kenny Omega hits a big knee on Jericho. Garcia and Kenny Omega and Brody King hits Garcia, and things just break down into chaos in the ring before Kenny Omega hits a Snapdragon suplex on Buddy Matthews. Kenny Omega looks for the V trigger, but gets caught into the walls of Jericho, only for the Bucks to unleash the super kick. Party, a whole lot of damage done with bodies laying in and out of the, and as we ring on the ring. I'm sorry, a whole lots of damage done with bodies laying in and out of the ring as we go to picture in picture. That's all I was trying to say, but I correct myself on that one. Picture in picture. This is very much the time in which every man starts to recover as we finally see Kenny Omega and Jericho starting once again. They go after each other, trading blows as they get to their feet before knocking each other right back down. After a while, they get back to their feet once more, trading punches again as we come back. Kenny Omega with a chop, but Jericho responds with some forearms only to miss the leaping crossbody. Kenny Omega sets himself up to a series of claps, hitting a big dive onto Jericho to the outside. Kenny Omega sends Jericho back in the ring, but is intercepted by the house who who's in turn getting stopped by the Young Bucks. Matt and Nick Jackson cut off on the top turnbuckle as Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia, who drops the Young Bucks sending them crashing into the canvas. Brody King gets up on the turnbuckle now, but it's stopped by Kenny Omega, who looks for a superplex, only to be shoved off by Brody King. Chris Jericho goes after Brody King next, but meets a similar fate of Brody King, who gets rocked by Kenny Omega in the process. This leads to a double suplex from Kenny Omega and Jericho, but sending Brody King down as Brody King down hard. Both men make the both men take time to recover from this, with Kenny Omega sending Brody King out of the ring before tagging in the code breaker from Chris Jericho. We get we get a split from we get a split we get a split screen revealing a fight backstage between the Blackpool Combat Club and Dark Order before going back to the action where Matt Jackson is rocking Daniel Garcia with their locomotion suplex chain before hitting a double on Garcia and Guerrero. Young Bucks look for the Meltzer driver, but gets cut off by Jericho. Which with that we get a shooting star press from Sammy Guevara, but Garcia is pulled off the cover by Brody King. Brody King goes off fighting off Daniel Garcia before hitting Cannonball Santos on him, and Sammy Guevara followed by a low drop kick. Sammy Guevara gets tossed away as Jericho makes the tag, facing all three of the house, who hits the Dantes in front of on Jericho. but Kenny Omega breaks up the pin. We see Jericho trying to fight his way up. Handed a bat by Daniel Garcia as Ariel was distracted. Distracted, he hits Brody King with the bat to make to the face. Sammy Guevara hits a moonsault on the outside as Jericho ends up with a near fall, making a tag to Garcia. But he is no match for the Dante Inferno, which gets a champ, the pin, and the win. Okay, to retain. The winner and still your AEW World Trios Champion, House of Black. This is a good main event. Jake Hager makes his way to the ring to help his friends out before staring down Brody King, only to be taken out by the House of Black. As suddenly the fight from backstage makes its way to ringside, leaving us to the Blackpool Combat Club and Paige in the ring. And Paige is back up by the Elite. Beast Blackpool Combat Club retreat to the ramp, leaving us with Paige turning to face his former friend comes as the show goes off the air. Okay, like I said, AEW Dynamite was a good show for what it was. But anyway, if you guys enjoy my AEW Dynamite review on highlights, please give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below on what are your thoughts on AEW Dynamite tonight, because it was a good show for what it was. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Turn on post notifications because I'm on the road to 4K subscribers. Turn on post notifications to get notified when I premiere a brand new video or go live on YouTube. Follow my social media, my Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch, and Discord down below in the description. And I will see you guys tomorrow when I go live on YouTube. This your boy bigboyfactsjonnytv. Have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings. Too sweet. I'm out of here. Gang.